Hello, it's me, Liz Yuille. Sorry I've not been around much, but I'm back and fingers crossed all my technical issues have now been sorted out. So today is Tuesday, so it's Top Tip Tuesday time. Really quick tip, but one that I think is incredibly helpful and something that a few people seem to get a bit confused over, and that is all about mats and layers. I'm going to start by saying, as far as I'm concerned, they're the same thing. So if someone talks about a mat or a layer, just assume that it's a piece of paper or card cut to a size and you'll be fine. I've looked up to see if there is a definite definition between or difference between a mat and a layer, and basically if you look in one place it says one thing and if you look in another place it says complete opposite. So let's just go with the bits of paper and card that are smaller or larger. So if this is the first time you have caught me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. That's available by clicking on the icon in the bottom right hand corner. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please give it a thumbs up. And if you've got any questions or want to leave a comment, you can do that below the description bar under this video. So without further ado, let's get started. I'll flip you down to the desk. Actually, I'll do picture in picture so that you can still see me as well. So I've got my trimmer, I've got a selection of card. I've tried to choose card that's quite clashy so that it's easier to see. So I've got a piece of Bermuda Bay card that's a half sheet. I'm not going to give you dimensions because different people are in different parts of the world and you're starting with a different sized piece of card. So let's not worry about dimensions as such. This is a card base. It happens to end up for me as an A6 card, but that is purely academic. If you're in North America, it's the nearest equivalent would be A2, which in international dimensions is enormous. So we'll park that one as well. But this works whether you're doing a 6x6, a 5x7, whatever. What I'm going to tell you is the same. So you start with your piece of card, you score it in the middle. This is for a basic card. And then you grab yourself a bone folder, give it a good burnish, and you've got a nice card base. For your first layer, you can either cover the whole thing with pattern paper or another piece of card if you want the back and the front to be different colours, or you can just take another piece of card, and I'm going to flip my card over because that's the way I've worked it out. You're going to take another piece of card and you are going to take a small amount off this size. So you're going to measure this size. So measure your long side and your short side, and then from that measurement you're going to work down by size. Now this is roughly, for those of you who like imperial measurements, so feet and inches, this is roughly 1/4 of an inch smaller than the front of my card. If you're in centimeters, then this is roughly 1/2 centimeter smaller on the long side and the short side. And then you're just going to pop it onto your card front like that. And that gives you your first layer with your nice margin round the side. So if you want to take your next layer, so that was Magenta Madness. If you're a Stampin' Up person, that's one of the colours that's going certainly on the 3rd of May, possibly before then if stocks run out. So that was Magenta Madness. This is Pacific Point. Now, it again doesn't really matter how much you take off at this point, but I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch because I'm of an age where I learned imperial measurements, but this could be 1/4 of a centimeter. Oh, I think I need to change the blade on my trimmer. What I'm going to do in the meantime is turn it through 180 degrees, because that should help. and take another 1/8 of an inch off. So I've done an 1/8 of an inch off the long edge and an 1/8 of an inch off the short edge, and this gives me a slightly fuzzy layer to put on top of my first layer. And you can probably see, particularly if I zoom, a tiny little margin. So that's taking off an 1/8 of an inch. So if we then go for Daffodil Delight, I'm going to take off a 1/4 of an inch. So that's an 1/8 of an inch smaller than my Pacific Point layer, and a 1/4 of an inch smaller than my Magenta Madness layer. All of my pieces of cards start the same size, and this will give you a narrow margin on your Pacific Point. So that's that one. So this time I'm going to take off 3/8 of an inch, and this is, ooh, Flirty Flamingo, I think. So 3/8 of an inch, so that's halfway between a 1/4 and a 1/2. And this again is going to give me a narrow margin around the outside of my Daffodil Delight. Mango Melody, 1/2 an inch off each of 2 sides. And basically I'm just going to keep going. Well, I've only got one piece of card left, but I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to show you what you can do with all of your layers. So that was 1/2 an inch. So this is going to be 5/8 of an inch off. And again, if you're working in centimeters, this would be a 1/4 of a centimeter that you're taking off. 1/4 of a centimeter? Do I mean a 1/4 of a centimeter? Let me just check that. No, I mean 1/2 a centimeter. Ignore me, I mean 1/2 a centimeter. So we've now got lots of layers. So if I get my trimmer out of the way, let's see what we can do with these. So we've got our basic card base, we've got our first layer, and we could just pile all these on top of each other and have multicolored, or you could do black and white and end up with a nice monochrome. You could use pattern paper. You could interchange pattern paper and card, and you end up with a stack. If I go back to my zoom, you end up with a stack that looks like that, which is fine if that's what you want. But what you can do is you can take your first layer and you can jump straight to your last layer, and obviously you can keep going smaller and smaller, and that will give you a wide margin. You may think that's too wide, so that's fine. Then go for this one. Still going to work. You may think you want something smaller than your Magenta Madness to start with, so let's go for our Daffodil Delight. And we've got a larger margin round our Bermuda Bay, and then we can come in with our Granny Apple Green and have this. So, as I say, regardless of the size of card that you start with, just keep going down in degrees and you'll get all your nice mats and layers. And if you want to make it really easy, especially if you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you want to do tutorials for anyone in the world, which obviously you can do. Got these the wrong way round, that's better. Then the really easy way to do this is to, and I'll put the link on my website, is to hop over to Kylie Bertucci in Australia, and she has for sale on her shop some templates. I have a set of them. Kylie's card templates. She has them in International A4 in inches, International A4 in centimeters, and North American letter card in inches. And it means you can interchange. So if I, for example, wanted to have this layer, Imperial A4, it's 5 1/4 by 3 1/2, which in metric is 13.7 by 9.3. Or if I want the same sort of size but in Imperial letter, so North American letter size, it's 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And they're really not expensive. So either just keep cutting a small amount off on each of two sides, your long side and your small side, or hop over to Kylie's website, buy her templates. You'll get them as a PDF. You then just cut them out of Stampin' Up cardstock, because the colours are by colour. The sizes are by colour, and you're good to go. So I hope you found that helpful. If you did, as I say, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe in the bottom right hand corner. I'll have the link to Kylie's website over on my website, and I will be back again very soon. Let me pop up so I can say goodbye properly. So have a fantastic day. I hope you found that helpful, and I will be back live today at 11 o'clock UK time. Our clocks changed this last weekend, so 2 days ago. So we're an hour ahead of where we were this time last week. So 11 o'clock UK time, I will be live on YouTube for some fun and games. Fingers crossed without any technical hitches this week. Please. Thank you very much indeed. Have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you again very soon.